If you ever struggle to repurpose content using AI, this video is for you. A lot of people struggle to make the best use out of AI when repurposing content because really they're just not being specific enough. And we believe that AI is this magic genius that understands and will know everything that our content's about just because they have the recording transcript. But in reality is that we can do a much better job in telling how we want AI to repurpose our content. So in this video, you'll see my process to iterate on my existing prompt. This video is part of a longer series that I'm calling quote unquote behind the scenes, which is a video series where I document the whole process of how I'm building this YouTube channel from scratch. So this is the second video of the series. The first one is here, so you can click to watch that. But yeah, without further ado, let's get on it. Okay, so I'm back. I followed this guide and kind of try to follow it to, get this whole long form content and break down into the clips. Again, there were some pieces that I changed. So what I'll do now is I kind of create a document just showing what I did, like the first clip, the title, and the segmentation with the chapters. So, and I did the same for the shorts. So what I'm gonna do is send this to Claude so that it can analyze and make any changes that it finds necessary. Claude thinks is necessary to that repurposing guide, considering what I did from my personal view, so that you can identify the patterns and stuff. So okay, so I went on and and used your suggested clips and shorts. Higher level, I kind of follow your structure, but it was not exactly how I would repurpose my content. So if you can find it attached here, a document with the repurposed content, the final version of the repurposed content that I did. And you will see there the title, the chapters, and then all the transcriptions for each clip and each shorts, so that you can have a better understanding on how I think about when repurposing videos, long form content from this Learn Along series. What I want you to do is to find patterns in my repurposing style and way of thinking, and tell me what things are in common with the guide, this last artifact that you have created. What are the differences and what would you change in that artifact? But don't change anything yet. I just want to see first your findings. And tell me what things are in common in the guide. What are the differences and what would change? Okay, let's see. I mean, these first iterations, they will take a while. And what I'm starting to realize is that for this Learn Along series, which is basically these videos that I'm recording, like on studying with Claude, there will be one way, like there will be one way of repurposing content, and probably for other types of content, the frameworks will be different, but let's see. Okay. Granular section library, okay. You don't use non-sequential stitch. Yeah, because the non-sequential didn't really make any sense, to be honest. Okay, so now edit the artifact where you think it's best with these new findings. And what I'm starting to realize is that a lot of what I've done, I mean, it kind of transposes the chapters, so it's not really. And what I'll do while Claude does that, is I will also add this other one with the chapters. Oh, I have the long form clips here. No. Okay, so what I'll do is take this one, which is another one that I had done kind of manually, and add it there so that it analyzes again and find the patterns and also improve this guide. I'm just not really sure. What I'll do is basically add some of these YouTube video transcripts that I had listened to as. Yeah, I think these short ones are not really. The output that the LLM will give you is 1,000% exponentially correlated with the quality of the prompt that you give. And by prompting is understand what you are saying, the context that you are in, to give you the best possible answer. It's the same like if you, let's say you have a financial advisor and you ask them like, oh, what's the best? I like this one. But what part of it that I want to get deeper on is that spray and pray era, because as far as understood, we are still spraying, right? We are still reaching out to people and potentially when, right? So there's a lot in here, so okay, now I just execute this prompt. So this is basically when we talk with LLMs, it's this one. It's always about context, right? So I'm basically asking the question. Okay, I think these are good actually. So let's see this first. Okay, huge thing here. So I added another set of examples, some of his YouTube, whatever. Okay, awesome. So I have one more example of how I repurposed another long form content into the chapters that you can find attached, as well as shorts that you can see below. And I want you to do the same. Find the patterns that I used in this example and compare it to the updated prompt and tell me what is missing, what would you change, what would you add. And also, don't focus only on how I'm repurposing the content, but also how I'm thinking about the titles for each long form, clip, and shorts as well. SEO friendly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, now that's the thing. It is identifying kind of a different type of content because that was a bit, yeah. So yeah, this last example that I had sent is a little bit different because even though I'm considering it being a quote unquote learn along series in the same way of the cookie wrappers, cookie code and APIs, it's less technical. And also I think one key piece is that I have a lot more knowledge around this subject in this last content. So that's why you're probably seeing it as being a bit different and calling it quote unquote research based. So, and this is the type of content that I'll keep doing. So my question now becomes, what's the best way for us to keep iterating on this artifact? The next times I upload a content, should I tell you kind of what type of content I'm uploading so that you can reference the specific guide for that specific type of content? Am I overcomplicating things? Because I'm just starting actually, so I even haven't uploaded any video yet. So while I want to optimize the repurposing process, I also don't want to over-engineer and complicate this. What are your thoughts? So you see how like the more we dig into this, it becomes a rabbit hole. So my concern here is like I want to optimize but not over-engineer because I haven't even uploaded like one single video yet. So, or should I not necessarily categorize the content when uploading the transcript? I kind of can just describe what I'm doing, and then you decide based on the guide like what's the best repurposing format. And maybe sometimes it's the model, like I don't know, maybe I'm using a overkill kind of model sometimes. Or should I just kind of describe the type of content that I'm doing before uploading the transcript, and then you, based on my description, decides on the best repurposing format. Should I just describe generally the type of content? We'll see. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay. So now it seems that kind of Claude is kind of lazy to do stuff, you know? Okay, let's keep it simple. And about this artifact with the prompt, do you want to iterate on it based on my last repurposing example as well? Do you think it's going to be too redundant? Do you think it's easier to just create a brand new artifact based on these new discoveries? How do you want to proceed? Because you're the expert here, you know, I'm just delegating work. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I want you to update the artifact, but I still want to have the section labels mandatory. So just remove this number 3. And also what I wanted to do is to add to the artifact a few set of questions that you would ask me in case it is not really clear from my meeting transcript and my description what type of content I'm talking about, so that you can use the best process to repurposing process. So I don't know if it was clear, but okay, so before adding those to the artifact, one last question. Do you think it's useful to add in the artifact, like one of the first things there, to encourage Claude to ask me questions whenever it is not really clear what type of content I'm talking about based on the transcription that I attach here, so that it is really clear for Claude what the best repurposing framework is whenever I ask it to repurpose content. So what I'm basically doing is, like, does it make sense to incentivize Claude to ask me questions whenever it is not clear, right? Because I want it to question me. It's like a conversation, so that I also can feel like I can believe that that at least from my side, all the delegation pieces are super clear, you know. I think Claude is getting tired of me. Yeah, prevents wrong assumptions. That's the thing. Yeah, I like this thinking partner. Always in for better context. Okay, awesome. So add the okay, awesome. So update the artifact with the additions found, but removing the section number 3, make section labels optional, because I still want labels to be mandatory, and also add the clarifying questions as well. And this is all in this. Okay, it's doing a lot of things here. This time I'll actually read through the whole thing, because I think I give it a lot of context and it should be pretty good, so we'll see. Okay. New to topic, focus on confusion to clarity, building on knowledge, mix of learning and teaching, synthesizing teaching, focus on insights and connections. Expanded title options, now includes journey-based titles, concept bit. Okay, I like that. Enhanced content recognition. Both technical learning sessions, research synthesis sessions, structure approach. Okay, let me go through this. It's a lot. Oops. I need you to know content, create a comprehensive repurposing guide. My content part of my YouTube. Oops. No. Okay. This is good. New to top. Nice. Some familiarity. Okay. You are to analyze the provided transcript to create chapter breakdown of timestamps, video descriptions, video titles, video hooks, clips, shorts, key moments, important technical for all segments, provide the exact first and last sequential chapter. This is really good. The last word of chapter 1 must be immediate. Or just guidelines, except short must be and hooks must be. For clips and shorts only. Okay, analysis framework, content type detection for yeah, natural question cycle. So question, response, interpretation, new question. Creators reading Claude's answer, creators interpretation. Wow, this is really good. This is really good. Content mapping. Yeah, this is good. Wow, this was, I think, the most important one so far. Yeah. Yeah. Live question for look for because really what I'm trying to. I'll just make this. So learn along, break chapters time. Questions not during Claude readings. Super interesting. Yeah. Meta teaching. This is very meta. Yeah. Yeah, I like this chapter breakdown for the clips and yeah. Journey-based, real-time discovery, authentic progression, concept-based, teaching. This is really good. This is titles. This is a lot. Okay, this is just the format. Yeah. Example. Yeah. So notes and technical or dead time to edit out. Moments where energy is highest. Natural breaking points if video needs to be split. Voice transfer artifacts to clean up. Yeah. Wow. Okay. This looks a lot more sophisticated. So I'll add this one to the project. Almost 400 lines. It's a lot. So we'll see how this goes in the next repurposing session. Okay, hello. So next repurposing session here. This is a long content that I recorded when I was building my first MCP agent. So it's over 3 hours long with the pauses. But then I have the whole transcript here that I'll add in here. Wow, which is a lot. I thought that I'll add in here. And I wonder why Claude's not adding that to that kind of pasted, but whatever. So the idea here is I got this whole transcript now, right? And I want to test this new repurposing prompt. But first, what I need to do is to kind of give a general idea of what this content is all about, right? So before, this is what I'll try to answer, So, and then obviously I could just add that to my prompt, but I'll actually ask Claude to, based on the transcript, to answer those questions, So it's always like that. Like whenever I feel like I have work to do, I'm defaulting now to delegating that. So let's see how that goes. So I have this whole, okay, so I have another recording transcription and I want to use the master content repurposing prompt v2.0 in the project knowledge for content repurposing. But before you run that prompt, what I want you to do is to, based on the transcript, ask those first 3 questions in the before analyzing, ask clarifying questions section, so that with that, I can then run the prompt so that it is more accurate. So ask those 3 questions based on the recording transcription here. Not sure if it was clear, but let's see. And I want to use the master content repurposing for as a guide for content repurposing. There is a shortcut here because I never said this, but the way Super Whisper works, if I say something, it can kind of create content repurposing. Yeah, so and it actually fit well here. Before analyzing, okay, let's see how this test goes. Yeah, I mean, usually like Claude would, yeah, that's weird. So, yeah, for repurposing, let me ask, okay. First time, yeah, correct, yeah. Before proceeding with the full repurposing analysis, do you see any other blind spots or places that could be misunderstood that could potentially lead the analysis to be less accurate? Like I'm starting to do more of these, like asking more clarifying questions before. And that's actually from a podcast about prompt engineering that I've listened to. I can link this later, but here, let's see. Wow, this is awesome. I'm already liking it. So conceptual learning to hands-on implementation. Great question. Another great question that I don't really have a clear answer yet, but and the question to these 2 questions is both. Okay, these are all amazing questions, so let's address one by one. Number 1, I want this to be the full journey from theory to practice, but also keep in mind that we can have the conceptual learning, we can have different clips for conceptual learning and about the hands-on implementation separately as well. I think for separate clips and shorts, you can try to address both if possible, because still, even though I have a Rails app, it's a very simple CRUD app, so it's still pretty beginner. So think about addressing both audiences with separate clips and shorts, if possible. Otherwise, if you have to choose, I would go for maybe people with some development experience. What do you think, actually? I want to preserve this timing coincidence, especially for shorts, because I think that can be a pretty interesting moment, and maybe even for clips, but the overall long-form pillar content should focus more on the learning process. So, I mean, for example, for chapters, I would not want a specific chapter just to talk about this timing coincidence, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm liking this. The answer for both of these questions, the answer here for questions 4 and 5 is both. So I want to prioritize clips and shorts, highlighting the meta aspect as well as the practical learning, and also the relatable problem and the MCP agent concepts. So the problem with doing this is that I'm liking it so much and I'm creating such a high expectation. Hopefully it will pay off, I feel like I'm this famous YouTuber talking with my content strategy team, if that makes sense. For the long-form pillar content, especially for chapter breakdown, I think I still prioritize technical content. But for clips and shorts, for sure I would also emphasize the real-life moments as well. Again, I think for the clips and shorts, we can have just specific clips and shorts talking about version control. But for the pillar content, it was just a background context. So I think the confusion here is that Claude is seeing like these parallel topics, and I think the confusion is if Claude should create clips and charts just on focusing on the technical learning process or just on these other ones, where the answer is actually both. I can use the same segments, but emphasizing different pieces of those segments, if that makes sense. So, okay, so I think these questions all make sense. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that there is a big question for you is rather to emphasize the technical learning process when repurposing the pillar content to shorter clips and charts instead of these other topics like the meta content strategy or real life moments or methodological approach for version control. I think the thing here is not a question of or, but more of a question of and. So I think we can, for example, take the same segments and emphasize different pieces of those segments, and make different clips and charts out of those. One being emphasizing more the technical aspect, and another clip or charts emphasizing these other topics. Does that make sense? Also, it's been really good. I mean, I cannot. Okay, let's see. So I think in the end, the goal is to be able to just throw the transcript and have it just do whatever I want in the best way possible. But it's still, I'm not there yet, so these iterations I think are important. Yeah, exactly. This is exactly it. Exactly, yeah. Yes, 100%. And so, are there any other... Yes, 100%. But before proceeding with the prompt analysis, a couple of questions. One, are there any other questions that need to be clarified before the prompt analysis? And second, do you think it is important to include these multiple angles from same segments approach to that prompt? And if yes, include it wherever you think it fits best. I love this, man. 100%. So before proceeding with the prompt analysis, a couple of questions. One, are there any other questions that need to be clarified before running that prompt? And two, do you think is it worth it to add these multiple angles from same segments approach to that prompt? Because this is something that will probably be present in, my content. So if you think it's worth it, also include it wherever you think it fits best. I think this was really interesting conversation and for sure very important to have and add it to the prompt, Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Good, really good. I'm excited. Wait, is drafting a new artifact? Oh, so probably, let's see. And I think for the, next repurposing sessions, I should for sure add this, start with this couple of prompts, like in a sequence to, this one. So it ran this. Wow, I mean, it's a lot of content repurposed. Like, if I can extract all of these many segments, it would be really cool. Okay, awesome. So one question that I have is, you ran the prompt in the project knowledge, right? And you also considered this artifact that you created here, correct? Now, can you take that artifact in the project knowledge file with the prompt and create a new artifact just with that file and this phase 2 for multi-angle extraction piece added there. This was fucking confusing. Create a new artifact with that file and add this phase 2 with that file and add this. The objective here is for me to take this new artifact and include to the project knowledge so that in the next repurposing sessions, this multi-angle approach is already included in that prompt. So this is the iteration process, you know, like just keep improving, keep improving, keep improving. And I will not go through this whole thing, but, and I'm missing the trailer. At some point I had asked Claude that I also wanted to create like a video trailer from these, but it kind of got lost somewhere. But yeah, I'm excited to test this and see how it will go. But just at a glance, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, and then I'll create another session just to improve the hook part. This is interesting. I want to see the thumbnails. Yeah. First agent. Okay, and where can I see here? This is really good. So I'll copy this to the project, which is much longer. And rename this. And yeah, now I'm excited to test this. I'll repurpose this session and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I'm back, and what I'll do, I just not repurposed. So now what I did is took the whole Learn Along building my first MCP agent content, and it's like, I think it was like almost 5 hours long or even a bit more. But then I cut, you know, the moments where I'm waiting for Claude's response and all that. So in the end, it ended up being like 2 hours and a half. What I'll do, and I think I'll change my approach here a little bit. I take all the recording transcript and with the chapters, and what I'll do here now is, actually I'll change my approach. I'll have Claude review the repurposing guide, but only for the chapters. And I think next time in my next repurposing session, I'll go on like step by step. So I'll first ask Claude to give me the title, descriptions, and the chapters breakdown. And then ask for the clips and the charts, because I think asking for this whole thing at once, sometimes I think some things may fall through the cracks and Claude may not do as good as a job compared to if I just asked separately each session. So, but first what I'll do is I pasted my final, let's say, version of the chapters. And again, I'll just iterate and see if Claude finds any patterns and how we can improve the repurposing guide. Okay, so now I repurposed not repurposed, right? Okay, so now I took the whole recording transcript and did the chapter breakdown, following a lot of what you suggested actually, but also I changed some things to follow more my style and the way that I think about it. So again, what I want you to do is to go through the transcript with the chapters attached in this message, find patterns and find things that were not considered in the guide. And before, just tell me the things that are similar, things that are different, and don't change anything on the artifact yet. What I want you to do is go through attaching the find patterns and find things that were, and things that you would change in the artifact, but don't change anything in the artifact. Okay, let's see. It's a lot, like it's a pretty long video, but I'm curious to see how it will go. And again, maybe, hopefully, like I still have some doubts if I'm kind of wasting my time here, but I have faith that this iteration process will eventually pay out, and I'll be able to repurpose and create chapters in a much easier and less time-consuming way. So let's see. Similar sequential natural story breaks, action-oriented names, things that are different, much more granular. Yeah, this is the thing. 35 chapters versus 8 to 12. It was a lot of chapters. Meta moment emphasis, chat limits, subscription upgrades, small emotional checkpoint chapters. I like that. Implementation, granular. Okay. You use that aren't in the guide. Journey arcs. Just a second.